Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20, breaks free of the 25 to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it in front of Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, What? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Go to that page, like that page as well. So in addition to Sports Zone Chicago, you'll also be liking Shawn and Maya in the morning. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real. All right, listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. Also, click the notification button. That's the little bell right next to that, all right? And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, yay. Wait, you didn't know? What? Look, we have our own mobile app. Stop playing around. You got to keep up with the Joneses in them, okay? Here's what you do. Wherever you get your apps from, and I don't care whether it's Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Wards, Venture, Woolworth, okay? Wherever you get them from, you go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. And if you're watching us on a Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. We have our own Roku channel. Yeah. You know we got you. Listen, if you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Download the Sports Zone Chicago's tile. Download the app to your Roku channel. Download the Sports Zone Chicago channel on your Roku TV. And do us a favor. Download it to all. If you have a couple of them, if you have a few TVs in the house, a few Roku TVs, download all of them. Download Sports Zone Chicago to all of the Roku televisions in the house. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. And right now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you, folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at The Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at The Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, well, just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Man, we have a phenomenal show for you, but we need you to get interactive. So listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app, Leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it on the screen. We'll talk about it. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that's what makes this the best Chicago sports talk morning show around, is you. So bring it, baby. Bring all your questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. And I told you, just like the Rock said, baby, don't sing it, bring it. Come on, baby, let's talk about it. We have a lot of sports to get at today, and I am fired up about it. At 9:30, I got Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Bus. He's going to come on. We're going to talk Chicago Bulls basketball. The Bulls had a preseason game last night over on the west side. All my people's over there on the west side. Actually, it's called West Town now. All right, you gentrify the area a little bit. You kind of change it because it was just the west side. It's just the west side. Now it's West Town. Ooh. So, Bulls had a preseason game there last night. We're going to talk to Fred about that. And then that's at 9:30. And at 10 o'clock, my man Herb Howard from the Bigs is going to join us. He's the beat writer for the Bigs. We're going to talk Bears football. We're going to talk a lot. Lord have mercy. We have Tyson Bagent. We have Justin Fields. We have Darnell Wright. We have DJ Moore to talk about. We have a whole bunch to talk about in regards to Sunday's game on the lakefront against the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah. So, Cornelius, yeah, no, I didn't see it. The online committee breakdown of Justin. It is, and Justin didn't play a good game. We'll get to it eventually, but Justin didn't play a good game from play number one. That was his mistake, his fault. Actually, Luke Getsy even threw him under the bus yesterday, and I don't know if he threw him under the bus. It's tough to decide if he threw him under the bus or he was just explaining what should have been done that wasn't. Okay? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So the lineup goes as this: 9:30, Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Bus talking Bulls basketball with me. And then at 10 o'clock, my man's and them, Herb Howard, beat writer for the Bigs, the Chicago Bears beat writer for the Bigs, joins me at 10 o'clock. We have a lot to talk about. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got people jumping already. Cornelius Squall's in the house. What up, baby? How you doing? My man, Shawn Walls in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning, baby. It is a Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. You know it. My man, Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. What up, Junior? That's my man. That is my guy. Patty Lara's in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning, Mrs. Lara. My man, Charles Edward Bingham McDavid in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning, baby. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I'll tell you what, listen, I don't know a lot about a lot. But I do know this. More of the usual suspects will check in as the show goes on. That I can tell you. That, my friends, I can tell you. Uh-oh, snap. Lavette Lee in the house. She's checking in. Good morning, Ma. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Appreciate the love and the support from you and everybody else in the chat. That's right. So Junior wants to be called. Junior is the Dominator. He's a Dominator. That's his nickname. That nickname goes back 25 years. 26 years. Pardon me. 26 years. Junior and I have known Junior. So I've known Junior over half of my life. And Junior's known me just under half of his. I think next year it'll be officially half. 52, 56. That'd be 28. Yeah. No, 2 years it'll be half of your life. Insane. But man, let's get right to it. What are we doing? Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Listen, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Yeah. Here we go. The first top of the morning topic. The Bulls. There we go. Bulls lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves 114-105. Nikola with a double-double. He had 21 points, 10 rebounds. Ayo, he chipped in 15. Kobe Whitehead 13. DeMar DeRozan with 11, and P. Will with 10. It's just preseason. Okay, we don't got to get all crazy, but you do want to see guys. You want to see the team win. All right, you don't want to continue to watch this team lose. You don't want to see. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see it happen. Is basically all it was. You know, you want to see these guys start to come together, start to gel. Yeah. Zach LaVine didn't play yesterday. So it's just a preseason game. No need to get too crazy. I'm not, again, I want to see him win. I want to see Vooch get his double doubles, but yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Not too okay. Let's not get it twisted, but I'll be all right. Well, moving on to the next top of the morning topic. The Blackhawks. Woohoo. Blackhawks get shutted it out. Woo. You know what? You know what it was? They were probably smoking all that weed in Colorado. That's what happened. Blackhawks get shut up by the Colorado Avalanche 4-0. Whew. Peter Mrazek, he's the only story. He stopped 37 of 41 shots. Yeah, it was. You know what it is? That was their fifth game. They opened the road. They opened the season 5 games on the road. Like, were there concerts and stuff already at the scheduled at the United Center? Like, what the hell is that? 5 games? Okay, I could get 1 or 2, but 5 games you start on the road? That doesn't make any sense. There had to have been concerts or something. I don't recall. I mean, the Bulls were there last night. Okay, I get it, but still, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But we'll move on. Oh, this is cool. The next top of the morning topic: former DePaul great Mark Aguirre. Love me some Mark Aguirre, baby. Love me some Mark Aguirre. You know what? I'm going to get him on the show. Yes, soon, because Lance and Jason have a good rapport with Mark Aguirre. I'm going to get him on. He was hired by his alma mater, DePaul University, as a special assistant to the athletic director. There's some stuff going on at DePaul. They are trying to bring back and revive that program. And I'll tell you why. Okay. One, with this hire, Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre could be the most famous alumni from DePaul. All right. Ended up going to play for the Dallas Mavericks. He was the first overall pick in the NBA draft. He was traded to the Detroit Pistons and then played for the Clippers. 2-time NBA champ. Okay. But then also, I was doing some reading on the wall. So Curtis Price, St. Rita's own, my alma mater, St. Rita High School. He was the athletic director at St. Rita for about a year, up until the beginning of this school year. No? Yeah, give or take. And then he just took some time off, and they didn't say he resigned, nothing else. They just named AJ Avery the new athletic director. So did my spider sense is tingling. I'm thinking maybe Curtis Price is trying to get a gig with DePaul. You bring Mark Aguirre back. You bring Curtis Price back. See, for those of you who remember the name Curtis Price had some stupid hops. Stupid hops. Dickie V called him the greatest leaper in the country while he was at DePaul. This dude, he can hit the top of the backboard, no problem. Whew. So I'm wondering what DePaul has up their sleeve. Things that make you go, Okay. Well, the next top of the morning topic, my man Louis Robert. He's been named a 2023 Rawlings Gold Glove finalist. Lou Bob. It would, if he wins, it would be his second Gold Glove award. And we've seen it. He covers everything from the Indiana to the Wisconsin state border. All right. He's actually gotten much better at stealing home runs, as he's stolen a few this year. I think it was one or two this year. He's gotten better. He wasn't good at it his first couple of seasons. But remember, Adam Engel was the guy who could take a home run away. He took 3 home runs away in one game. But Louis Roberts got much better at it and won his first Gold Glove last year or 2 years ago. But he is named a 2023 Rawlings Gold Glove finalist again. So congratulations to Luis Robert. You know, one of the things that I hope is that they're not playing for a Gold Glove. You've heard me rant about my White Sox. Don't play for a gold. And I'm not accusing him of doing that. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying I don't want them to be satisfied with a Silver Slugger award, with a Gold Glove award. I don't want them to be satisfied with that. I want them to be satisfied with a team effort hoisting the World Series trophy in late October, early November. That's what I want. That's the trophy. That's the award I want all these Sox players to strive for. Individual achievement is great, but the bottom line is you should be hoisting that World Series trophy. That's your goal. And if you don't, season's a failure. Sox have more than enough talent, although now we actually need to replenish the starting rotation, replenish the bullpen now that Raylo's gone. We have more than enough talent to get to the playoffs and make things happen. Let's see who else. Charles. Hey, I ain't mad at you, Papa. Charles, why are you yelling at me, bro? Why, see, this is where there's a technology gap. So, Charles, I don't know if you're aware. When you put something in all caps, you're yelling at people. That's what that means. So why are you yelling at me, bro? Just got in from work, about to watch on my Roku until I doze off, so I won't be able to comment. We'll enjoy the show. I won't be talking to the TV. Hey, talk to it, baby. Just stop yelling at us, damn it. Brian Hendry, good morning, Papa. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday, baby. Yeah. It is Friday. It's the weekend, baby. I'm fired up. Brian, you ain't never lied, dude. You ain't never lied. Whew. And I'm going to talk about that today. You know what? You're going to see the true Shawn. For the most part, you've seen the true Shawn. But let me tell you something. There's a standard that needs to be set and upheld in all our sports teams, all of them. And I think that's the problem with our teams. We don't run it like a business. We run these things. Oh, we like these guys. We like them. So, we'll give them time to develop and things like that. That's just got to change. We don't run our organizations in Chicago, for the most part. We don't run our organizations like the big boys. We don't. Okay, this is professional sports, professional baseball, professional basketball, professional hockey, professional football. And it is a win now business. Unless you're in the middle of a rebuild, then you understand. Okay, you give people some leeway if they're in the middle of a rebuild. But if you have people who aren't or are incapable of doing what it is you need to make this, you need them to do to make this team or their team successful, they need to be replaced. It's that simple. It's the cold hard facts. You can't play football like that. You can't play baseball like that. You can't play basketball like that. You can't play hockey like that. You can't play any sports like that. High school, college, okay. Well, high school maybe because you're stuck with the players you have. College, you could get guys in the transfer portal and but in the NFL, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for us having anybody subpar. You're professionals. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. So my rant is aimed Cody Whitehair, Justin Fields. And I love Justin Fields. But you know what? He's not being held accountable. Cody Whitehair, get the goddamn snap to the quarterback. Brian, you joked about it. You said if anyone deserves a gold glove, it's Fields. It's a good joke, but it's the truth. It disrupts the play from the beginning. This is muscle memory. If you can't do it, we need to find someone who can. And scouts, this is where you come in. Justin, you got to read defenses. You can't hold the ball in the first play. If you listen to Luke Getsy yesterday, Luke Getsy said, Justin identified the defense, called the right protection. He called the right protection. He set the protection to the right. So that means the last guy in the end of the line of scrimmage, if he came, because you don't know if he's going to come or not. If he came, you're responsible for that man, Justin. The quarterback was responsible for that man. You got 5 blockers. They got 6 attackers. You're responsible for 1. Your response should have been roll right. And I get it. It wasn't a clean pocket. You would have had a dip inside the defensive end, get out to the flat. It would have taken some time. I get it. I understand that. But that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. So a lot of these guys, my guy Yoan Moncada, I love me some Yo-Yo. That's my dude. Get out of your goddamn head. Bunt when we need to bunt. Hit the ball to the opposite side when it needs to be hit to the opposite side. Hit it to the right side if you need to get a guy over to third. Tim Anderson, focus on routine ground balls. You're unbelievably athletic, but you don't focus. These are guys. This is why people get frustrated, because you're playing a kid's game, making millions, and you're taking it for granted. P. Will, listen, son, this is your 4th year in the league. You've been in here 3 years now. 3 years. Your nuts should have dropped already. I'm a big P. Will fan, but damn it, grow the hell up. Stop coddling. Stop taking a back seat. Oh, Zach's on the floor. DeMar's on the floor. Go ahead, guys. You take it. No, damn it. Ballers, when they get on the court, they don't give a damn who's on the court. You play your game. I'm tired we as a staff, I mean, as a media, we're very forgiving. And believe me, I have patience. I have no problem waiting for people to develop, letting them develop. I have no problem with that. I'm not saying you got to come in and be an all-pro, all-American, whatever, first year. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, damn it, Patrick, you've been in here 4 years. Damn it, Mokala, you've been here 6 years. Damn it, Cody Whitehair, you've been here 4 or 5 years. And you can't do the simple shit that's in your job description? They need to go. And it's frustrating because the talent is there. And this is the coddling, this is the pussification of America, where you tell everyone, oh, they're good, that's okay, it's okay. No, look, you got a job to do. Get it done or you get replaced. Period. We'll trade you, and if we can't, we'll waive you. We'll cut you, we'll take the loss and move on. Jimmy Johnson was one of the best coaches ever. You screwed up, you're out. There's a million people wanting that one spot. There's a million people wanting Cody Whitehair's spot in the NFL, or I should say on the street. In free agency, a million people want his spot. Same thing with Patrick Williams. A million people want your spot. You know how many people wish they could have the opportunity you have? They let you develop for 4 years, and some of it might not be your fault because they didn't develop you properly. It's got to come a point in time, man, where you're playing in the summer leagues. You're playing with studs all summer long. You can't develop that way. We got to stop. Everybody's coddling. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Oh, he's trying hard. Well, guess what? This is a performance-based business. You're making millions and millions. Perform or you're out. And I'm not asking you to come and be a superstar year one. No. The people that I mentioned, Yo-Yo, Whitehair, P-Will, you've all been here more than 2-3 years. It's time for you to put up or shut up. You got me fired up on a Friday. I had no idea I was going off on this rant, but God bless it, it just went that way. We're going to bring in my next guest on the other side of this break, man. My guy, Red Fred himself. Fred Fife is going to join us. We're going to talk a little Bulls. And I'm fired up already, Fred. You heard me. He came in. He was like, damn, Sean's spitting fire. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of no one being held accountable. You know what? What would be worse if you got cut? If you got benched. If you got benched, that would be worse than getting cut. P. Will, Justin, Whitehair, Yohan, Tim Anderson. Getting benched would be the most appropriate thing. Just sit there. Sit your ass. Come to practice. Get your ass. We might need you. But sit your ass on the bench and watch. Fred Pfeiffer on the other side. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
It's an opportunity for him to show that Mike Conley's obviously going to be the starter, but can he be the second guy?
Oh, there's Patrick Williams making an impact early. Big body, he stonewalled him. Vucevic, kick. White has to hoist the these three.
That's money for Kobe. Man, I wish I could do that. Yeah. So does everybody else that plays this game.
Carter sets up Caruso for three.
That's what the game has changed.
Everything's evolving here. Here is Vucevic, the kick. Dosumu. That's a good ball movement again. Dosumu this time from the right knocks it down.
Back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Those were the Bullies last night in their 114-105 loss. But it's only preseason, so let's not get too crazy. All right. Don't get me wrong. I want to win. I don't like losing, but let's not get too crazy. Well, my next guest, man, he's a good friend of the program, and good to have him on. And I love talking hoops with this guy. He's part of the Big Red Bus, the Big Red Bus podcast. Excuse me. You can find him on Twitter at CRedFred. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Fred Pfeiffer. Fred, what's up, Papa? How are you? Good morning.
I'm doing great, Shawn. Let's get crazy. It's time to get crazy. Season's about to start. I'm looking so forward to it. I think the Bulls are going to be better with the killer C's and Caruso, Carter, Craig coming off the bench. But I loved what I heard from you about Patrick Williams and the passion and frustration, frankly, that you showed. I agree with you 100%. And, I've never seen so much celebration in a post game yesterday and this morning over a guy who shot 3 of 12, just because he's showing some aggression for once in the preseason. But overall, I mean, it was a completely and utterly disastrous preseason for him in 5 games. So we'll see where it goes.
And here's the crazy part is like we've seen him play, we've seen him ball, we've seen him dominate. We don't see it enough. We see him in summer league. You're like, okay, you're playing with some guys, and then we've actually seen in actual regular season games when DeMar and Zach are not out there or they're hurt, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, this dude, he plays like an all NBA player, an all-star at times. And then when they come on and it's like, oh well, I got to shrink. It's your ball. No, you have the talent, and the thing that bugs me is and I assume they're trying to pull it out of him, but I don't know what else to do with this guy because as soon as we trade him, now he's going to go off and be like Lowry.
Yeah.
Now he's going to go off and be like Lowry Markkinen.
Well, I disagree a lot on that. I mean, I think Lowry Markkinen showed far more consistency and far more signs than Patrick has. I mean, Lowry, we always go back to February 2019, had a 6 or 7 game stretch where he averaged 25 points and 12 rebounds. And I think Patrick can count on one hand the amount of times he's scored 25 points. Period. He hasn't proved anywhere as much in my opinion, that Lowry did. And if anything, I think greatness comes in being consistently good. He's been consistently inconsistent, and it's sometimes in the same quarter. Let's just look at the preseason so far. In 5 games in the preseason, he was 4th in preseason minutes per game at 23.8. But for the team in 5 preseason games, he wasn't in the top 5 in per game stats for rebounds, assists, blocks, or steals. The only stat he was top 5 in was points per game. He averaged 11 points per game. He was 5th on the team in that. He shot 38.5%, 34.8 from 3. He got to the line 1.6 times per game. There's nothing to celebrate about his performance in this preseason. He will not, he did not impress me. He's going to be starting solely because he was the 4th overall pick in the 2020 draft. He's being handed the spot because Acme have invested a reputation in him. But if I was running the team, he'd be leading the second unit, just like he did in college. And I keep hearing from some fans that, last night he played without thinking. That was he just played basketball. Well, I disagree. Like, his natural instinct to play without thinking is to play with a low motor and not be aggressive. So the team and the coaching staff constantly have to tell him to play with more aggression. And it's frustrating because, he does have certain gifts that, and most NBA players don't have. But let's take the scoring aside. Like, what is he? He's at least a role player. Like, he does have talent. He's proven to be an excellent 3-point shooter. But that's, to me, where, probably his ceiling is. This idea that he's going to be a game changer, I think that I've seen nothing in the first 3 years indicate that this guy's got what it takes to be a dominant, all-star type of player. So I think we just need to kind of just reset our expectations about what he is. He can be a valuable player coming off the bench, hitting threes, being a solid role player, good one-on-one defender. He's not a good team defender. He doesn't protect the rim. It's a major issue with this team, and I think I've already seen more from Julian Phillips in a few games this preseason than I have from Patrick Williams in 3 years in terms of rim protection. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, and for the last 2 years, I've been saying get him off the bench, have him be your main scorer off the bench, because when he's playing against second teamers, he sticks his chest out, he pounds his chest, like he attacks, and if you give him that green light. You say, hey, go score. And he can. Why they keep trying to put him with the starting 5? It's okay. He can get us 16 points tonight from the second unit. That would be huge. Him being aggressive, him going to the hole, him getting people in foul trouble. Because people don't realize, if you get the second unit in foul trouble, starters got to come back in. All right? You can't get those, and all the starters aren't getting their normal rep. And what does that do for our starters? We're playing our ones against their ones who don't have their normal rest. It's a big advantage, and this is why I don't see why Billy is forcing him, unless it's coming from upstairs. Okay, why he's forcing him in that starting lineup? Keep his ass on the second unit. Tell him, I need you just to score and rebound, 1A, 1B, because he can do that on that unit. He doesn't do it on the first unit.
See, I would counter. I don't think he can rebound. He's just not in his. He's not a good rebounder. Every stat proves that. And I kind of highlighted in not this game, but the previous game, a couple parts of that game where I contrasted Torrey Craig and from video. This was a game he got pulled in. Billy Donovan admitted he pulled him out of the game, and you could just see on a backside rebound where he should be attacking the rim, and he just has a tendency to kind of wander back in the other direction, not attack the rim for rebound opportunities. And it's completely countered with a guy like Torrey Craig, who's constantly attacking the rim, who had nice rebounds. It's just natural for him. He's just not an aggressive player. I mean, that's it. And it's reflected in his embarrassing rebound numbers. His rebound numbers as a 4 are a travesty. He's in the preseason, he averaged under 1 offensive rebound per game. Like, there's just no excuse for it, But I think what
Fred,
he is, he's a perimeter player. He's a perimeter player.
Here's what you tell him. Here's how you handle it. I need you to rebound. I need you to score and rebound. So the more you don't rebound, the more you don't play. So if you're content with sitting on the bench, then you're asking to sit on the bench. And if he continues to not rebound, then you got to find a trade partner for him. You got to find someone to release, unless you have to just ultimately just out and out cut him.
No,
there has to be repercussions, though. Look,
I
if
agree.
This is what I need you to do. Okay, we're not asking you to be Dennis Rodman. We're not asking you to give us a double-double. But damn it, give me 16-6, 16 and 16-8 some nights. You're 6'9" with long ass arms. You have with a nice big frame. You have the physical traits to rebound. You don't rebound. Not that you can't, you don't. So here's what I'm going to need you to do. And the more you don't play. It's that simple. You don't do what I ask you to do, then you're going to do what I need you to do, and that's sit on my bench. We're coddling these guys far too long, and it's his fourth year in the league.
I don't think Billy was coddling him in the Toronto game. Like if you saw what happened in that first
Billy's probably
quarter.
Fired up. Dude, Billy's our age, dude. Billy's like, if you don't do what I need you to do, your ass is on the bench.
Yeah, and there was a play that I'll highlight in the Raptors game, first quarter, about 3 minutes in, where the Bulls had the ball in the front, their possession, shot goes up. Vooch gets the offensive rebound. He actually tipped it once, got the ball, turned around and fired it to Patrick, who was so far out of the play, he didn't even establish himself in the front court. So it was a turnover because he caught the ball in the back court. It was inexcusable. I highlighted it as something like, if I was coaching, I would have lost it right there. Like, that's a sign of a guy who was not being aggressive and not hustling to get back in the front court when it was clear Vooch got the rebound. It was like a full 3 seconds from the time Vooch tipped it, gained possession of the ball, and turned around and threw it out. And he's still in the backcourt. Inexcusable. He got pulled within a minute after that, and you could tell he was angry about it. I agree with him 100%. Like, that kind of stuff is just inexcusable. But that's what a low motor player is. You have a player like Kobe White, high motor, plays hard all the time, never an issue with effort.
Ever.
It's exactly the opposite with Patrick Williams. So, I mean, I think that's something we should be focusing on more. Is like Kobe White's become like a top 3 player. I think he's the big 3. I think I'd throw Kobe White in there. I thought he had an incredible preseason. Didn't shoot it from 3 at the level I think he will. I think he shot 31%, but over 50% overall from the field. Led the team in assists. Just improvements at every level of his game. Obviously went 1 of 7 last night, so it had a negative impact on his 3-point line. But, big picture, I feel really good about Kobe White and his improvement. So, he's a young player that we should be celebrating, who's only a year older than Patrick. He's 23. That's a guy let's focus on. Let's focus on Ayo. Ayo played fantastic in this preseason. Over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, showed massive improvements. Those 2 players, if you get 2 out of 3 that really get better, I think we're in really good shape. But, the big hole on this team still to me is the rim defense. It's a issue that we saw last night. Against Minnesota, the team shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3. It's just a layup line. They really don't have anybody to defend on the interior. We have plenty of guys that can defend
Fred,
on the perimeter.
Why do you think that AK hasn't addressed this? I mean, he literally said, let's run it back one more game. And why do you think he hasn't addressed this? It's not like he doesn't know basketball. It's not like Billy Donovan doesn't know basketball. It's not like he hasn't heard it from the media and the fans. Why do you think he didn't address it this offseason?
Well, number one, I think it's difficult to address it. I mean, there's just not a lot of great elite rim defenders, and if they're out there, they're going to cost some significant amounts of money. And just the way our cap is right now, with this, some of it kind of wasted on Lonzo, and we've already committed significant dollars to our big 3, who none of them provide rim defense. I like Vooch. He does a lot of things well, but he's a rim presenter, not a rim defender. He's terrible at that aspect of the game. So, I think. It's just, the fact is, it's just limitations on what you can do. I think they tried to address it by getting Phillips, who's clearly shown the ability. He led the team in blocks in the preseason. He's got a really, I think, innate ability to defend the rim, but he's only 185 pounds. Derek Jones Jr. I thought, their best rim defender last year. I was kind of heartened by, what I saw from Drummond in the preseason. I thought he had some nice moments in defending the rim, but big picture, that's going to be the Achilles heel of this team. It's been that way since we, basically sent Gafford a couple years ago away. We just don't have anybody that can really protect the rim. And when you have teams that have really athletic perimeter players and a combination of shooting, it's just super hard to expect your perimeter defense to always stay in front of guys. And it just creates too many easy shots at the rim. I think I saw a stat that Vooch's defense from 6 feet in, team shot 66% against them. I mean, that's just, you can't win consistently with that kind of, those kind of numbers. You just got to find somebody that can do it. Ideally, with Vucevic, you'd like to have that from your 4, but Patrick doesn't provide that. He doesn't provide it at all. So I mean, they missed some really good opportunities to get some really good rim defenders in the draft. Dalen Terry's been a bust. I don't think
That was my very next question. What about him?
What about him? If he wasn't picked in the top 20, he wouldn't be in the league. There's nothing he's shown in summer league, in on the court in the NBA game. He's been absolutely awful as a shooter. I don't know. There's just like nothing. I think he has some. It's clear he's got some skills. He's a good passer. He's I think a pretty good defender. But as far as like shooting the basketball, which you should be able to do at the age of 21, at least better than he's shown so far, can't do that. Hasn't shown a lot of improvement. I watched him in a pregame once. I love watching guys shooting pregame, and he shot an air ball with nobody on him, like in pregame, from the corner, like corner three. You're shooting air balls with corner threes and nobody on you. Why would you expect to do well in a game with people actually defending you? He's just, man, just such a limited player. And I thought that was a major reach when they drafted him. Had a couple really good friends who follow Arizona closely. He was the third best player on a underachieving Arizona team. Why would he be a guy you take in the top 20? Especially when you look at some of the picks right after him in that draft, really good players that we could have had that could have made a difference, especially with rim defense. So just frustrating. I'm not going to deny that was a very, very upsetting pick. And he's not, to me, ever going to be, like I would, when they could have had Malachi Branham with the Spurs at 20, they could have had Christian Braun at 21, or Walker Kessler, who's one of the best rim defenders in the league, got picked traded to Minnesota, and then eventually now is in Utah. 3 really good players picked, within the first 5 picks after that one. Just really frustrating miss.
It is. So that being said, now is AK on the hot seat? I mean, he's the president of basketball operations, and so are these his picks? Are they Mark Eversley's picks? Are they a combination of the picks? Who does he have to report to? Because if you continue to keep passing up on people that fill a need that we obviously have, and the pick, and it's not like this guy's like a Damian Lillard that you picked. Okay, you got a guard who can score from anywhere. You got Dalen Terry, and you can't keep missing those. So who does he have to report to? Who fires him?
Well, if you look at some of the good they've done, the IO pick was excellent, but I mean, I was sitting in my living room screaming for him to take Io because I went, to Illinois, and I knew how good of a player he was. And I give him credit for making the pick, but I was shocked that he fell to that position. So they did great in getting him in the second round. Patrick Williams has not been, clearly the player that we expected at 4. He'll be a fine rotation player, but they passed on some better players after him, some significantly better. So the good, the bad, 2 misses there. Draft, they really haven't shown ability to really, hit a homer there. But they traded most of their draft assets in a Vooch trade. So that was, I mean, I still can't believe people think that was a good trade. Like, I mean, you can't make that argument. If Vooch had come here and shot like he was in Orlando, and that's what the one thing I will say is, like, I think this team can win 50 games if he somehow regains that form of hitting 40% from the line, the 3-point line on 6 attempts per game, which he was doing when we acquired him in Orlando. He's never really kind of remotely approached that since he came to Chicago for whatever reason. Last year, I think down the stretch, he was resorted to terrible again from the 3-point line. He was terrible from the All-Star break on. He was 31%, which he had shot the previous year. Like, if we can somehow get him back in the upper 30s or 40s, like, I think it'll do wonders for his team. It's going to pull out the bigs and allow Zach and DeMar to really attack the rim and do great things. But that trade, I mean, to give up, basically what turned into Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr., who's a much better rim defender than Vooch, probably a better fit around this team. It just didn't work out. They did get DeMar DeRozan. I think that was one of the best trades in the history of the organization. So that was a fantastic move. So there's been good, there's been bad. But what I get frustrated with, I think there's an inconsistency on the team that they've kind of like made a commitment to these 3 older vets. And I think DeMar they'll probably sign him to a longer term contract. And, Zach is not young. He's right in his prime at 29. And then you're so protective of Patrick Williams. like I would have traded Patrick Williams and done it whatever it took to get Holiday. Then you would really have been cooking with gas. You prevented him from going to Boston. They didn't make that move. They don't seem eager to trade him. They just feel like he's got the ceiling that I don't see. Hope I'm wrong on this, but I think when we look back 10 years from now, we're going to see a team that tried to be put their eggs in two players' baskets, Vucevic and Patrick Williams, and we're going to fall far short because of that. And it kind of drives me insane that the only guy they talk about, you hear in the news that they're talking about trading, is Zach LaVine. Like Zach LaVine, to me, by far is their best player. He had a fantastic preseason, and they've never once tried to build around him. Who's the best 3-point shooter that he's played with since he's been here?
Caruso,
it's an embarrassment.
Ball,
Yeah, Lonzo Ball. And what happened when Lonzo Ball was healthy? We were playing very well.
Number one in the East.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just been really frustrating that I don't think they've ever really optimized him, and they're always constantly looking him to play out. But it is a little disturbing if you look at the team right now. I would argue the two best players are probably Kobe and Zach, and that's the only two holdovers from Gar Pax. What does that tell you about the job that they're doing? I don't know.
So DeMar is another year older. How much more is it? Is it Zach's team now? Is it completely Zach's team?
Unequivocally, yes.
Okay.
I don't even think that's debatable. Like DeMar is at the tail end of his career. Zach is from the All-Star break on last year. Zach averaged about 27.
Zach was a different player.
Top 7 in the league in terms of offensive efficiency. He basically shot 50, 40, 90. He's an elite offensive player, and he played so well. And I don't think it's any coincidence. That's probably when he was finally feeling really healthy after the All-Star break.
Right.
And so far this year, he's looked incredible to me. If he can stay healthy, I think we're in for a real special year from Zach LaVine. I think he's going to lead. I don't think there's any doubt he'll lead the team in scoring, and I really like what I've seen from him. He's not going to be the issue. It's like, I think definitely DeRozan needs to turn over the keys to him. But he's still playing at a high level. So, but he is on the tail end of his career.
Zach, he sounds different, and I'm wondering, if fatherhood has changed him, because he did have a kid some months ago, and it can change people. He sounds more mature, Fred. He sounds more businesslike. He sounds more focused. And maybe it's a combination of fatherhood, maybe a combination of the contract, maybe it's a combination of, maybe he just said, you know what, shit, I'm tired of not living up to my potential. I'm healthy. I got all this talent. It's time for me to put it together. I don't know what it is, but he sounds different. The aura, when I hear Zach, that's a man. A couple of years ago, it was a young man who was still trying to have fun and would do whatever and play ball. This guy, he seems focused. And I think I really think I agree with you. I think Zach's gonna have a really, really good year. I think it's unequivocally it's gonna be his team. Unequivocally, he's gonna show it, and unequivocally he's gonna be in all serious all-star consideration.
And that's the bright side. So like, what can happen for the Bulls to be 3, 4, or 5 seed in the East? There's a pathway to that. I think it happens if you get 3 or 4 things. Number one, Zach LaVine takes another step and plays like he did at the end of last year for the entire season, averaging about 27 points a game at 27-7-7, somewhere around there. Kobe takes a step and then kind of fulfills what I had predicted for these guys in the backcourt of kind of like Portland East at their prime. So you got Dame. I'm not saying Zach's as good as Dame, but he approaches it, somewhat. And I think Kobe could be better in CJ McCollum. And then you have that kind of backcourt with a scoring backcourt that can really do a lot of things, combo guards. And then, so if you get those two things, number 3, you just hope that you see some improvement from Io, really bringing it out. And number 4, just incredible perimeter defense. I think it is going to be Craig and Caruso are such an upgrade over what we had last year in Gordon Tragic and, basically Green, who was injured the entire year and hardly played. So there are major improvements on the perimeter. And I think if you get that with some modicum of health with Zach, I think there is a possibility the Bulls can win 47 to 53 games on a high end, and then, grabbing that 3, 4, or 5 seed. So we'll see.
And guys, we're joined by Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Boss podcast, talking Bulls basketball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. One last question before we let you go. Billy Donovan, what do you expect from him this year? I mean, how do you expect him? I mean, he's got to be frustrated, right? I mean, you're running it back with the same crew. You didn't add much. You're still down Lonzo Ball. What do you expect from Billy Donovan this year, this season?
Well, I would argue that we did add a lot. I do think Javon Carter and Craig are significant upgrades, and they're two significant parts of rotation. I mean, you've already seen Craig have an impact defensively. I mean, it's the block he had in the Toronto game.
That was nasty.
I'm still buzzing about. Carter, I think, is a pro who's going to be great off the bench and be able to hit the three at a 40% rate, provide some really solid defense. So I think you have presented Billy with some significantly better options in terms of the rotation. As long as I'm a Billy Donovan fan, I don't think he's been the issue. I really like the way he runs the team. I like his communication with the media. I mean, it's like night and day. Where maybe that's a reflexive reaction to what we had before in Jim Boylan. But, I still think he's a really good coach. I think that's proven in his record throughout his career. Where Billy sometimes I think fails is in, the rotations. Sometimes you got to question, right? But I think that's normal with a lot of coaches. I think he's trying to find, at least for the first few months, he'll probably try to find what's working and he'll run with it. But I have faith that he'll get there. I've never felt like, I've never really understood why he's taken so much heat, because I think he's done miracles with a team that's very limited. Like, we were top 10 defensively last year. How many plus players do we have on the team? We have Caruso, who's a plus defender. We had Ball, who didn't play at all. Like, who's another elite defender? Please don't tell me Patrick Williams. He's not a good off-ball defender. He's not a good team defender. He's a good one-on-one defender. But he's done miracles with this team. Like, our three best players are not good defenders, or subpar. And for us to be top 10 in the league in terms of defensive efficiency, it blows my mind. So, if he can do that again this year and get a little bit more better performance from as a team overall in the offensive end, 47-53 wins with the talent in his team, I think is pretty good.
Fred, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it. Good to be back talking Bulls with you, man. And look forward to talking to you more often this season.
Shawn, love talking to you, and thanks for having me on. It's always great to talk to you. And I think we should be positive, though. I've been predicting 47 wins from the team, and we will not have to endure a play-in like we did last year.
I think with Kobe's maturation, he looks like he's grown up a little bit. And I'm confident with him. Io, the same thing. Io's been eating some weights. I was like, oh snap! I see you, Io. I see you got some shoulders on you, boy. I see you. I see you. You're gonna be riding dudes to the hole. That's what I'm talking about. But
both of them appear to be much better ball handlers than they were too. You could see the improvement there. I'm so bullish on those two guys, and I think it's going to be a surprisingly good season. So I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me on. Always good to see you, Shawn. Always good to be on.
Before you go, let everyone know where they can find you online.
Oh yeah. At CBE Fred is my Twitter handle. That's where most of my thoughts are posted. We have redone the Chicago Bullseye.com, so check that out. It's going to be, the final version should be out before the season starts, but ChicagoBullseye.com, we are bringing that podcast back up to life. And then, of course, with Doug Tonis, the Podfather, I'm on the Big Red Bus, which you can get on any platform. We do usually one show a week there. So always awesome to talk to you, Shawn. Thanks for having me on.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Have a good one, bud.
All righty. Guys, that was Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Bus talking Bulls basketball. Man, it got me fired up a little bit. My next guest is going to really get me fired. I already got fired up before we even started with Fred. All right. My next guest is a good friend of the program, and you've seen him. And on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to him, see what he thinks about Sunday's game. Herb Howard, the Bears beat writer for the Bigs, is joining us next, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
To run for 17, back he goes. Here comes Chubb. There goes the ball. Touchdown! Jones will walk at the left tackle. Time for Fields. Now we'll accelerate to get the first down. Great tackles, and he's off to the races. And we got a terrific block.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
So I've come.
Yeah, I think whatever they want to put on that call sheet will be understood, through and through by myself. And I'll put that on me. Kind of going into the game last week, I just kind of told them, hey, I know you guys have a lot of faith in me, but I do want to let you know I know the whole call sheet. So don't be afraid to do your thing, call your plays. Don't hinder the offense just because I'm going in there, because I've prepared for this all week. So kind of take pride in doing that. And whatever's put on there is usually what will be understood and what I'll figure out how to operate.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. That was QB1 Tyson Bagent. Secret Bagent man is in full effect. Kid's got a lot of moxie. Kid's got a lot of confidence. Kid's got there's an aura about him. When I was there Sunday at the game, and just his post-game presser, and even after, the moment didn't seem too big for him. He seemed ready. I mean, granted, he didn't have a great game, with the fumble, scooped and scored, return for 6, and the pick at the end. But the kid, that happens to a lot to people across the league, and he's just like, it's all right, I'll be okay. And I asked him literally, I said, how, if you're moving forward, because we didn't know about Justin at the time, I said, if moving forward, if you're QB1, how confident are you that you could lead this team to victory against the Raiders? And he's like, dead ass. He was like, oh, I'm very confident. I was like, okay, kid. All right, cool. Now you got to go do it. Now he's got to go do it. He had all weeks of the whole week of reps. They're all his. He's building chemistry with DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, the whole crew. We're gonna see how it plays out on Sunday, and I'm gonna talk to my next guest about it, because he was in a press room with me, and he was there yesterday asking questions as well. He's a Bears beat writer for the Bigs. You can find him on Twitter at Herb Howard 411. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, our guy, Herb Howard. Herb, what's up, Papa? How you doing?
Shawn, what's good, my brother? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling really good. I was fired up this morning. I had a kick-ass CrossFit workout this morning. And I went off on a tangent about everybody coddling all our goddamn players, from Moncala to Manderson to Justin.
I heard you going off on all of them across the whole city.
I'm saying, dude, stop.
Cody Whitehair, all of them. I heard you going off.
Man, you're professionals, damn it. All right, get it done or get them out. And I'm not asking you the first year, okay? Everybody that I've mentioned has been here at least 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Has been here 2+. And
Cody on his second contract, and it's almost over.
So how we got that, I have no idea. So, but let's get back into the full Bear team. It's gonna give me your thoughts, man. Tyson Bagent, number 1. Justin, they decided not having surgery on it, so he should be back sooner. When, that's still up in the air. Give me your thoughts on Tyson Bagent starting. I was going to say tomorrow, starting on Sunday against Max Crosby, who's on the injured list. Maybe he's just resting because he knows he's going to have a long day. But against Max Crosby and the Raiders.
Yeah, it's impressive what Max Crosby's been doing, man. You talk about playing 100% of the snaps the last 3 weeks at D-line. That's absolutely crazy. So I think he's going to live in the backfield on Sunday at Soldier Field, and the Bears better have a really, really solid plan for how to deal with him and execute it flawlessly, because if not, that's a dude that can wreck your day. So they got their hands full with that for sure. But in terms of Tyson Bagent, I think you got to go back to the spring and the summer. I think, after they signed him as an undrafted free agent, Division II Shepherd, he just continued to show up. He was, never too high, never too low, just steady. And then you look up and you're weeks and you're months into that thing, you're like, yo, this kid's been performing all right. In fact, he's probably been the most consistent performer at quarterback outside of Justin Fields. And so he earned the right to be the backup. The Bears made the right decision in saying, I know we paid PJ this money and we still on the hook for a couple million with him, but this kid's outperformed him. And PJ had a bad summer and Tyson had a good summer. And so he earned the right to be the Bears backup. And so, Justin goes down, he comes in. And, to his credit, I think that he does prepare really well. It seems to mean a lot to him. He seems to take it, very, very personal in terms of his ability to prepare himself for whatever comes. That being said, you're still talking about a rookie, an undrafted rookie from Division II. And so there are things I like about his game, no doubt. I think he's able to read and diagnose the defense. I think he gets the ball out of his hands on time and generally knows where to go with the football. But you're still going to see some of those rookie mistakes. And we saw a couple big ones last Sunday, and I imagine we'll see a couple more this Sunday.
I do too, and I might be a little more lenient than many people. I'm actually, don't get me wrong. You know me. I'm a Justin guy. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I love Justin, and but we're here now. Justin's hurt. I have this unwavering feeling that he's going to do all right. Of course, he's going to make his mistakes. I agree. All right. But there's something to be said for 2,000 passes in college. His last 2 years, 1,100. He had 579 passes his junior year, 572 his senior year. Okay. In my opinion, there isn't any situation, all right, 3rd and long, 2nd and short, 1st and behind us, whatever, that he hasn't seen. Okay.
Agreed.
I think the issue is going to be just the talent level. And I think when he catches up to the speed, because mentally it's here, it's there. Because the moment wasn't too big has never been too big for him. When he gets there, and if he gets it sooner because of he got all the reps this week, great. Yeah. I think he's going to be okay. What happens? What do you think happens if he does? And I'm not putting him in the Pro Bowl. I'm not putting him in Canton. I'm just saying more than serviceable because I think he could be more than serviceable. What if he is more than serviceable? How do you think this town will react?
Well, I've said that, even going back to this, when they first decided that he would be the backup, I said that, if, God forbid Justin was to miss, 4 games or so, I think that he's a guy that can get you to 2-2. And I think with any backup, that's probably as good as you can hope for. I mean, you like to say he gets a 3-1, but I think 2-2 is realistic, and I think that's a pretty good performance from him. I mean, I said that the other day and somebody was joking with me like, well, shoot, that would be the more wins than we've had the past couple years, right? And so I think that, again, I think he's got the talent, he's got the ability. I think you're absolutely right in terms of the amount of football that he's seen, having thrown over 2,000 passes, all of the reps that he's seen in college. But you gave that caveat, and you have to, that you're talking about a huge jump from D2 to the National Football League in the regular season. And he performed well in training camp. Like I said, he had a pretty good preseason. We saw that as well. It's a different thing in the regular season when these bullets are live and you're talking about first team defenses out there going against you. And so that he may know where the answer is, but he's never seen the answer come as quickly as it needs to come here, right? And so he's seen the defenses, he's seen the coverages, he's seen the pressures, and he says, okay, they bring this pressure, I got to go here with the ball. That's fine, but how fast you got to go here with the ball in D2 is a lot different from how fast you got to go here with the ball in the National Football League. And I thought he understood what he saw on the game-deciding interception. Mm-hmm. You got DJ Moore one-on-one. It was the second play in a row that they manned him up like that. Yeah. And I'm in the booth like, if you got DJ one-on-one, you got to give him a shot out there. So he saw it, and he knew where to go with the ball. He didn't go there quick enough, and everything changed for him faster than it would have at Shepherd. And, he's going to have to account for that talent gap. And I know he's confident, he believes in himself, and that's cool, right? But you gotta understand that there's a difference in the talent level. And so, I think that some of those things humbled him a little bit in terms of just the reality of what he's up against at this level. And, hopefully he can find those answers quicker and get the ball out of his hands. Because I think if he gets that ball out early enough, then DJ's got a step and he's got a shot. But by the time he waited, he had pressure in his face And then he did something I've never even seen a guy do, Shawn. Like he threw the ball and spun completely around. Like he threw like a 3-6, like threw it and turned all the way around. I've never seen anybody do that.
You know, it was like a shot putter.
It was, and the ball went about that far too. Like the ball went about as far as you see some of these shot putters throw it in the Olympics. And so I think that's something he's got to understand. He's got to work on that. And I think if he does, he'll be okay. I think he can win. But I'm not as confident as like you are, or some people I'm hearing like he's going to come in, he's going to like who. Yeah. But that's the life of Bears fans and Bears media. We're always just hopeful that the next guy under center is going to be good. And for the past 30 plus years, that's never been the case.
So his job's going to be made a lot tougher. Darnell Wright was on the injury report yesterday. He did not practice.
Yeah, did not practice. Yeah,
and that was that's an issue. All right, that was a big issue. So here's the injury report from yesterday. Doug Kramer, thank goodness he and not that he's a first team All Pro, but Jesus Christ, hopefully he can get a shotgun snap back there without having to be a Gold Glove like Lewis Roberts, a Gold Glove finalist. Nate Davis, his right guard is going to be out. His right tackle might be out. His left tackle is already out. You have Cody Whitehair, rolling balls, throwing balls, snapping balls over his head. Your left guard, Tevin Jenkins, might be the only dude. So his job just got a lot harder. What do you think Luke Getsy does to help this kid out because of the deficiencies in the offensive line?
Well, I think that Luke Getsy is going to do what he does. I think he thinks his first answer when he has these types of problems is wide receiver screen. So I think you're going to see a large dose of those. I think you're going to see that on the opening drive. I think he wants to get Max Crosby moving east and west and not north and south. I think he wants to get his eyes in different places. So I think you'll see, some pre-snap motions and things like that just to get him thinking a little bit and not going straight up the field. I don't know how well that's going to work. We'll see, how well that works. They need to be able to establish the run game, and all offensive linemen like to go forward in the run game. And so even if you're missing, some of your top dogs, whoever you bring in should like to at least run the ball. And so if you can establish the run game early, that can set you up for some play action. That can set you up for some boots, and then that can you can use that to kind of slow down, some of that pass rush from Max Crosby and Bilal Nichols and those guys up front. I would be surprised if we don't see a heavy dose of some of those wide receiver screens. I think Velus Jones is the guy that continue to try and find ways to get the ball in his hands. I asked him last week before the game, probably like last Wednesday before the Vikings game, if he was prepared and able to take snaps out of the backfield as a traditional running back. And, we had a pretty good exchange about it. It's up on my Twitter that, he thought he could do it, found out he was being coy with me because they came right out, put him in the backfield and gave him a toss. And so I saw him after the game. I said, don't lie to me like that again, man. I told you, I knew on Wednesday you was going to be lined up in the backfield. He's like, I know, but I couldn't tell you. I was like, I ain't going to tell nobody, man. I want you to do well. And so yesterday in the locker room, I went up to him again. I said, yo, I won't even say I won't even tell you what I told him yesterday, but I think they'll find more creative ways to get him the ball again. So I think we'll see a lot of those types of things. Tyler Scott, Darnell Mooney, some of those jet sweeps, all those types of things to get those guys going east and west more so than north and south.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Armando Lara Jr. says, I don't believe in Bears coaching to have a game-winning game plan. I'm concerned with it as well. I'm concerned with that because I think you need to run the ball. You got Dante Foreman. He's healthy. He's not on the injury list. He's had one game, and that was just last week. He should be healthy. You get with Homer back, so you have a second guy. Johnson still hasn't got out of concussion protocol. That could change today, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? So you may have him back, but you got at least two back. I think you need to run the ball, and I don't think Luke Getsy's going to do that. And I think that's the thing that bothers me is when you got a young quarterback, like we talked about, get your offensive linemen moving, get them lathered up, all right, get them fired up because now you're moving people. You're not catching, now you're delivering the blow, and I don't think he's going to do that. And sometimes it's crazy how we watch offensive coordinators try to be the smartest guy in the room. and we all know what it is, and they just outthink themselves. And I hope he doesn't do that in this case, because I think Tyson Bagent could be a really good, more than serviceable guy if you set him up right. If you make Max Crosby earn the right to rush the passer. Here's a crazy idea: why don't you run right at Max Crosby? Why don't you
that's true. That should do with some of those guys like that. You gotta go right at him. You double team him. You combo up to that linebacker right at him and just make him work. And so he's not 90% in the fourth quarter. So he doesn't play every single snap. So he starts to tap his helmet and say, "I need a blow here because I'm tired of 600 pounds of beef on me every single snap." And so go right at him. I'm with you on that,
bro. Here's what this is where it pisses me off, because here's my thought that I've been saying forever. Get a backup lineman in there as a move tight end. Put him in motion, and you get him, and everybody blocks down. Max Crosby comes off, and you got a 300-pound guy with a head start. All right, knock the shit out of him every play. And when the guy reports eligible, it's like, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Get ready. Let him know. Like, you need to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, damn. All right, you know what I mean? Like, I got 300 pounds. Yeah. What am I gonna do? And trust me, those hits. You get when you get hit from a guy who's in front of you with 300 pounds, nothing like when you get hit from a guy 300 pounds with a head
leading
start.
up on you.
And they don't do that. They're not thinking that way. And that's the thing this is why why Junior doesn't think that the Bears coaching staff has a game-winning plan. I agree with you. To punish those people. You think you're a badass? Okay, bet. We're going to see how badass you are. And if you can beat us and flip off that 300-pound dude with a head start and make the tackle, I'll tip my hat to you, okay? But they're not putting people in conflict, and that's the thing that bugs me.
I really want to see Darnell Wright play this game. My bad. I really want to see Darnell Wright play
me too.
In this game, and I think that it'd be a good sign about his toughness. I'm not questioning his toughness or anything. I'm not even exactly sure the extent of the injury that he's dealing with. But I would love to see him, find his way onto the field on Sunday afternoon and show up and be there for his team. I think it would bode well for, just his competitive toughness, his competitive toughness to kind of show up and say, hey, I'm gonna answer the bell every Sunday at right tackle. And this is one thing you don't got to worry about. And so I would like to see him go out there if at all possible. Again, I say I don't know the extent of his injury, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying he's not a tough kid, but I would love to see him make his way onto the field. I talked to Tevin Jenkins about it kind of jokingly, like, hey, can you still bump out to tackle if need be? Because it's getting a little thin out there. And he's like, man, I'm a guard. He's like, I can do it if they need me to. He was like, but I think that he's like, Darnell told me he'll be all right. So now it's after he missed practice. So hopefully he's all right. And, it's Friday. He still got today and tomorrow and, whatever treatment he needs to suit up on Sunday because they need him out there.
Let's go to the other side of the ball. Defense played better last week, giving up 12 points. You give up 12 points, you got to win. All right. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. The fumble, scoop, and score proved to be the difference. What do you see? How much more of a step do you think this defense is taking? Talk to me about the camaraderie, the chemistry, the trust that they're starting to have with each other. Javon Dexter Sr. starting to play good. Zach Pickens starting to play better. So those two youngsters are starting to play very well. Give me your thoughts on the defense and how you think they improve, especially without Jimmy G. All right, you don't have their starting quarterback. So can we get home with and pressure Brian Hoyer, or how do you think this defense is going to play this week?
Yeah, I think the biggest reason for the improvement from the defense comes from the coaching staff. I thought they were foolishly relying on the front four in the earlier games in the season. It didn't make sense. You came into the season, it was clear as day that the strength of this defense was on the back end. That secondary was the strength of this defense coming into this season, the entire back seven, right? And for them to say, okay, we are only going to rush four. We aren't going to help the front four. We're going to put all our resources on the back end. It's like, your best players are back there. Put the responsibility to perform on them, right? Let them be the guys that are put in the pressure situations where they're in man coverage or they're, single high. They're your best players on the back end. Help the guys in the front. They need help. So now they've kind of decided, okay, we need to help the guys in the front. So they're starting to send more pressures. They're dialing up more blitzes. You see TJ Edwards coming more often. You're starting to see him send the nickel. You see him walking Jaquan Brisker down and sending him. That's what they needed to do from the start. Help your front four. They can't get home by themselves. But now you're sending some pressure. You're forcing some bad throws. You're creating some turnovers. You saw TJ Edwards get in there and create the turnover where Tremaine Edmonds got the pick. So I think the biggest difference for the defense is the coaching realizing who their best unit is. And it's the back end. It's the secondary. And so put the responsibility on them to show up and play well and help out your front that is still developing. I think they've played better. You mentioned some of the young guys kind of, starting to develop, but they are the unit that needs a little bit of an extra push. So send them the help and put the onus on the back end, because I think they're able to hold up. And I think that's what we've seen from the defense over the past couple of weeks.
Eddie Jackson, what's his status? I know his foot is still bothering him. Because other than that, the other DBs are healthy. You got Brisker. Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson. But what's the status of Bojack?
Yeah, it's not good, man. He's still, out with the foot, and he tried to come back last Sunday. I think he was like 14 snaps or something he was able to get in, and then he couldn't go anymore. And it's unfortunate because I really like Bojack. I think he's a great leader for them on the back end. I think he's very smart. He's aware, and he had gotten back to his kind of ball hawking ways earlier last season before he went down with the injury. And so the hope was that he would bounce back and kind of return to that form. And then he gets the foot in Tampa or is it Kansas City? I don't remember, one of those two. He gets the foot and then he's been out. And so I think they certainly need him. They certainly need him. I think a lot of those young guys have stepped up. You talk about Elijah Hicks coming in and playing. We've seen Jalen Johnson and all those guys come in, Josh Blackwell and, Stroman. All those guys have stepped up when their number has been called, but you would like to have, Eddie Jackson back there playing center field for this defense. And without him, they aren't as good, but I still think that's the strength of this team. And so hopefully he can come back. But you start to wonder, if the injuries are just mounting on him a little bit too much, and will you ever see the Eddie Jackson that we, grew to love early on in his career and saw flashes of as recently as last season.
Guys, we're joined by Herb Howard, who covers the Bears for Bigs Media. We're talking Chicago Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm concerned with Eddie Jackson too. I think he's the key veteran, like you said, the ball hawking ability. There's a lot of leadership he provides, a lot of leadership, and without him out there, it's someone else has got to step up. Talk a little bit about the off season. Jalen Johnson is a free agent at the end of this year. Yeah. Your thoughts on the Bears? What would you do for him? He's going to want some money. All right. And people have often referred to or reverted back to the fact that he doesn't create turnovers. Would you give him a big time, not necessarily big time. He's not asking, I don't think he's asking to break the bank, but I think he wants to get paid. Where's your stance on Jalen Johnson? He doesn't create a lot of turnovers, but by the same token, he usually shuts down half of the field.
Yeah, I like Jalen Johnson a lot. I think he's a key piece to this defense and to this team. I think they need to sign him. I think they need to re-sign him to a longer-term deal. Is he going to break the bank? Is he going to command, Trayvon Diggs money? No, he doesn't turn the ball. He doesn't take the ball away. He told me that himself. Like, I'm not looking for, Trayvon Diggs money. He got X amount of interceptions and I don't. And so I think that as long as that's the case, he knows that there's a limit to how much he can command. But in fairness to him, I'm sure he wants to get every bit that he can command. And I think he deserves it. I think he's a really, really important piece of this team. And he welcomes the challenge of accepting the other team's best receiver. And I think that it would behoove Ryan Poles in his front office to go ahead and sign him. I know they like the two young corners that they drafted in Tyreek Stevenson and Terrell Smith. That being said, you got to start to answer some questions long term, right? They got all these questions on the table right now about who they're going to be and who's going to be around when this team is competitive. And I think you got to start answering some of those questions sooner than later. You answer one with Cole Kmet. I think it's time to go ahead and answer another one with Jalen Johnson.
I agree with you. That's why I didn't want to kind of influence you, but I do agree with you. And you can't. And he's good. He's really good. And he's multi. He's versatile. Where he can play in his own very well, but you could also go man. So
Yeah.
you don't get a lot of corners because sometimes you get corners who are system guys who are only who do their best work in zone and have an
Yeah.
issue with man. But he's able to do both, and I think
And he tackles.
yeah, and he's not afraid to bring it. So I think it's a shame. We can't stop. We got to stop. We can't just let good players walk. You know what I mean?
No.
That there's a lot of value to the fact that despite the fact he doesn't create turnovers, he shuts down one half of the field. All right. And that is a huge thing. Now you let everybody else do it. Like if I look at it, I'm signing him quick, fast, in a hurry. All right.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Talk to me about with now that Justin's hurt, this thing is kind of all over the place. Just indulge me. Number 1 overall pick. Carolina gets it. It's ours. All right. And people are talking, go get Caleb Williams, go get Drake May. Most people, 95% say Caleb Williams. The other 5% say May, or Caleb or Drake May. Your thoughts with that particular pick, if it falls that way, just hypothetical. Bears get the number 1 pick because it's Carolina's. And I'll give you 2 scenarios because it's going to be contingent on this. If Justin comes back, okay, and plays well, or if Tyson Bagent plays pretty well.
I think that the first thing has to be about Justin, right? His health and how soon he's able to get back. I think if he misses a week or 2, then he still has ample time to come back and prove that he is their long-term answer at quarterback. That's what I'm hoping for. That would be my preference. And then you got a lot of options for what you can do with that pick in terms of, trading it, solidifying the defensive line, the offensive line, those types of things. If that isn't the case, then I think they have to go ahead and take Caleb Williams. I don't think that you can pass on a guy who seems to have potentially generational talent. And so if Justin Fields misses 4 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks, then I don't think there's enough time for him to come back and be adequately assessed enough to say, we're fine. Here's your 5th-year rookie option, and we're going to pass on Caleb Williams. I just don't know that there would be enough information for Ryan Post to comfortably make that decision. And so I think it all hinges on, how quickly Justin can get back, and can he be more of the player that we saw versus the Denver Broncos and the Washington Commanders than, the guy we've seen in some of these other games. And so that's the number one thing. If he comes back, then I'm perfectly fine with Justin. I'm on the record. I always have been. I think he has all the tools. I think he has all the arm talent. I think he's obviously everybody knows about the athleticism, but I think he's got great work ethic. He's a great leader. He's tough. So I think he absolutely is a guy that can lead you to a Super Bowl. But if he doesn't have the time to come back and show it this year in this critical year, then I think the Bears would have to move on and take Caleb Williams. I don't want to see another quarterback from North Carolina. I'm done with that. So no diss to Drake May. It's trauma.
PTSD is real.
PTSD
is real. I think they're sold on Justin. There's nothing that indicates it. There's nothing tangent. I just think they are. And I think for me, I'd rather get a haul. I'd rather trade that number 1 pick because now you can get a stud left tackle. You can get a Marvin Harrison Jr. or you can get an edge rusher. You're going to have a whole bunch of, imagine 2 stud first-round picks, a stud second-round pick or 2 stud second-round picks. You get an edge. All of a sudden, that defense changes big time. That offensive line changes big time. So now you get a first-round left tackle. You got Tevin Jenkins. All right. Hopefully Kramer gets healthy or you get the kid out of Cincy, Von something or other, center. You got your night guard, Nate Davis. You got your first round right tackle. Now you're cooking with gas, man. Now you're cooking because now that offensive line look is very formidable. Very formidable. And we've seen what Justin can do when he has time. Give him time and you give him another receiver, a Marvin Harrison Jr. type. To go along with DJ Moore, man, and Tyson Bagent backing him up. I really like Tyson Bagent. I think he's going to be he's going to be like Mike Tomczak back in the day, Mike Tomczak, whenever Jim McMahon went down, which was often, Mike Tomczak was able to come in and keep the ship afloat. You know, you turn around, you hand it off to 34, turn around, hand it off to 34, turn around, hand it off to 34. Oh, hit a tight end here. You know what I mean? Those things, you know, we said manage the game. And I think if they do that, I am more than okay with them going to get a haul, believing if they do. And I truly believe that they're in on Justin. He's just got to play better. Because once he does start playing better, man, dude, this dude, you and I have talked, like this dude is, and they're not just us, but like you look at like Lance Briggs and Mike Brown and Peanut Tillman and Alex Brown. I said Mike Brown. Dude, they all have faith in this guy. Like when you got guys who played the game and they're like, okay, I see the talent in this guy. Oh, I'd stay with this guy. They understand they have a better perspective than everyone else because of the fact that they played the game. They played at that speed. They played, and they're like, this is the guy that you should build around. This is the guy you should keep.
Right.
I'm with them. I'm on that bandwagon. I think he could be good. And if they do go get that haul, my goodness, because you know Ryan Poles already showed his ass. He's like, I'm getting a first round, and a player.
Yeah.
And the player. So we don't even have to get a 3-tech because we're getting a player because, you know, Robert Burns, he was one of the guys they wanted before DJ Moore. Remember, they wanted 2 defensive players before DJ Moore. And like, no.
Brian Burns.
Who did I say? Ryan?
You said Robert, that's the fullback, the backup fullback that's on the roster now.
Him too.
Yeah, him too.
They wanted Burns before last year, and they wouldn't say it. They said, "All right, fine, give me DJ Moore." DJ Moore was like the 3rd option. It ended up being great for us. But now, if you could trade for him, get a draft capital, I'll give you a 2nd round pick for a guy who's a proven commodity for a 2nd round pick who might not be. Man, so I like this building up of the team around Justin, and the more Tyson Bagent plays well, the better I feel comfortable moving forward with Justin and Tyson Bagent, because you know now that if Justin goes down, we're not going to worry about the fact that he's from Shepherd, the fact that it's a Division II. We're going to worry about the fact, oh shit, this guy gets the ball out on time. He's not as athletic as Justin, but we saw he can move.
Who is?
5 people in the world, but that's about it. But his ability to scramble, his ability to buy time.
Yeah, we saw him climb the pocket, float to his right, find DJ on the sideline.
Yep. So
we saw Tyson do that.
I like that thing, that combo of Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent. Last question before we let you go, man, and because if I don't let you go, man, we'll be talking for another 2 hours.
Hey, you know I'm always down to hang out and talk ball with you, man. But I'm sure you got a fully loaded show, so I make my exit.
No, you're the last one. I can't say the best for last. I'm like, nope, got to get Herb at 10. Eberflus.
Yeah.
How hot is his seat? Because if this defense continues to improve, okay, and what if we do win 4 games, 5 more games? Okay, that's a lot, but nonetheless,
sure.
And that defense, but Javon Dexter develops, Zach Pickens, you see growth. You see it. Does he get fired, or do they say, hey, listen, we like what you've done with the defense, we don't really like what you've done with the offense? Do you think is it a package deal?
I don't think he gets fired in that scenario. I'll be honest with you. I was ready to fire him the moment he sent the offense out on the field on 4th and 1 against Denver. Like, I'm timeout, fire him. Somebody else make that decision. That being said,
out at Hallis Hall, we'll leave it out in front at the game.
Yeah, pick it up. Like, you know what I mean? That being said, he was able to hold that team together and on a short week, go down to DC and pick up an impressive win. I think you got to give him credit for that as well. But then you see some of these same things kind of revert back against the Minnesota Vikings. And so I think that if he's able to kind of right the ship, if you will, then I think he'll probably get at least another year. That being said, it all depends on what Ryan Poles' big vision is, because, I mean, there's a lot of conversations that happen within an organization, right? So you have the conversation that Ryan Poles is having with Matt Eberflus, but then you have the conversations that Ryan Poles is having with Kevin Warren. And that Eberflus may not be privy to those conversations at all times.
Yeah.
And so, it's about the bigger vision, because Kevin Warren has his vision and Ryan Poles has his, and Flus is like, hey, give me a shot. I can get this thing together. Like, okay, well, you had better start getting it together, because right now there's a lot to not like about his, albeit short tenure here in Chicago. You're a defensive-minded coach, and since you've gotten here, you've been the bottom of the league in all of these different defensive categories. And so, he's got to be able to turn some of these things around. But if he does, I think that he'll probably, get another year to see if he can get this team to be truly competitive in Chicago.
Some people have said, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I tend to agree with some stuff. What are your thoughts on the fact that Ryan Poles, or that Matt Eberflus really isn't Ryan Poles' guy? Maybe one of the reasons he got the job was because I need you to take this. When you're first getting a gig as you're a first-time GM, you're going to do whatever you got to do to get that position. I'm starting to think more and more, my feeling is much stronger and much stronger as the seconds go by, that he might not be, that he's probably told, you got to hire him. Go ahead, continue your interviews, but he's the one that's got to be hired, because they brought in, was it Ernie Accorsi this time? When they brought in, it was Polian. Of course, he was the last time.
Of course, he was last time, right?
Yeah, so they brought in him, and you know as well as I do, it's a good old boys network. Yeah. And hey, this is how it's going to work. So you want this gig? This is what you do. You fake the funk like you're doing interviews, but at the end of the day, you settle on him. If that's the case, do you think he has the it's going to be easier for him to fire him and go get his own guy?
Yeah, I think that would certainly make it easier for him to go ahead and turn the page. Say, listen, the line from New Jack City when Nino stabbed the I never liked you anyway. Right. You pretty mother.
You're pretty light-skinned motherfucker.
Yeah, I never liked you anyway, you pretty motherfucker. Like I think that you could have a bit of a situation like that. Because I do think that he was hamstrung in the decision. I think if you're going to hire a GM and say, hey, you go out and hire a head coach, then how do you say these are your three finalists? Like, you're not letting me hire shit. Like, you've already chosen basically who's going to be the guy here. And so, you talk about, giving a guy three finalists. And even when you get down to the finalists, there's still a guy you like more than the others. You're just kind of going through the process. And you can't tell me that Ryan Poles has been in Kansas City for as long as he has been, and he didn't even want to interview Eric Bieniemy for head coach. You're lying. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So, I've never really bought that they were in such lockstep. I remember asking him that.
Bieniemy point's a great point, dude. I didn't think about it. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I asked him that on their introductory press conference. And somebody else had actually retweeted it here recently, and I was like, oh, I do remember asking him that, and his answer was kind of weird then. I just asked him, when did you know that you and the Bears were in lockstep on Matt Eberflus as the head coach, right? Because you came in here late, and he was already a finalist. When did you know that you both agreed on the same dude, right?
When they told me?
Right. When they told me, and he's like, oh, when he walked in the door, knock it off. Like, you know what I mean? So, and again, that's not to say that Flus can't ultimately get the job done. It's just to say that I don't think that Ryan Poles actually, we know he didn't have his full pick. He's one of these three dudes. And I think that Flus already had the upper hand, before Poles even got the job. And so I think that he would relish the opportunity to choose his guy. And I would be very interested to see who his guy is.
So here's the thing. If he does, how much of that? So you think offensive or defensive guy, head coach? What do you think offensive or defensive this time around?
I don't really care. I'm not that much into that type of thing when you talk about head coaches. For me, head coaches are GMs of the football team. Right. And I like a guy that's able to be a GM of the football team, who's able to oversee the entire process. I think that good leaders surround themselves with smart people, let them go to work, and then you look like a genius. And so, with the few exceptions of the Mike McDaniels or the Kyle Shanahans, who are also the play callers for their ball clubs, I think that the best head coaches the Mike Tomlins of the world, the Bill Belichick's, they are able to oversee the entirety of the process. And I think that's more important to me. How are you a leader of men? How well can you lead your staff and these players and establish a culture for how we do things around here? That's more important to me than whether or not you spent time on the offensive side of the ball or defense side of the ball. You can go hire OC. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Can you be a general manager who oversees the entirety of this process and gets the most out of every single person in this building? That's the most important part to me than whether he's an offensive guy or a defensive guy.
The reason I ask is because I wonder who his defensive coordinator would be, because now is he kind of stuck getting a guy who runs a 4-3, because we got 4-3 personnel. All right. Some guys can, they're multi-schemish, so they can go 3-4, 4-3. Many of them might not be. And now, So now you're going to have to say, okay, are you going to tell your head coach, okay, well, you got to hire, the defensive coordinator. And unless the defensive coordinator is Vic Fangio, it's going to be tough to force that, because now you got another 2 or 3 years to change that 4-3 personnel into the 3-4 personnel and then be good.
I think that as the league has evolved on both sides of the ball, I think those defensive ends have become so interchangeable to outside linebackers. Like, it used to be that your defensive ends were defensive ends. They were the Phillip Daniels types. They were 280 and 290. And now the D ends, they 260 anyway. And so it ain't too much to ask them to drop into 3-4. And so I don't necessarily think that you can't flip the scheme. That's my biggest point of evaluation on any coach is their ability to adjust the scheme to the talent that you have. And so many coaches are so stubborn. This is my system, and this is what I want. I don't care what your system is. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to win a football game. Do what you need to do to win the football game. Don't tell me, oh, we're pass heavy. Well, if this week calls for us to run the ball 40 times, then we better run the ball 40 times. Whatever it calls for to win the game. And I think that you can flip this defense just fine. You look at the guys they have right now. I think that you start with. I think that you can make a pretty good 30 front with Billings and Dexter and Pickens. I think you can make a good 30 front with those guys. I think you can make a 30 front with a guy like DeMarcus Walker. I think that Yannick Ngakoue could become a stand-up, outside linebacker. I think you have TJ and Tremaine in the middle of that defense. I don't think it takes as much overhauling as maybe it used to in terms of flipping a defense from 4-3 to 3-4 because of the change in body type for a lot of these DNs, as opposed to the guys that it used to be with the Javon Curses and the Julius Peppers. That's not really the guys that we see, playing DN anymore anyway. And so I don't think it will be too much to overhaul the defense. So again, just get smart football coaches who are have enough common sense to put their players in the best positions to win. I think you'll be fine.
He's Herb Howard, and he covers the Bears for the Bigs Media. Man, great stuff as always, Papa. I appreciate it. But do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Most definitely. Always a good time, man. Thanks for having me. You can definitely follow me at Herb Howard 411 on Twitter. You can follow my work at thebigs.us. You can go to the Bigs Media YouTube page. Got a lot of dope one-on-ones that I've been doing. I've been doing a series of one-on-ones, a series called Bear With Me, where I sit down with a different bear every week. We've got Justin Fields, Jalen Johnson, Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. All of those are on the Bigs Media YouTube page. So go to the Bigs Media YouTube page, catch up on those videos, and follow me on Twitter as we continue to navigate these turbulent waters that is the Chicago Bears, Shawn.
Ain't that the truth, man? And good stuff, man, as always. And I will see you Sunday. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll be there.
Indeed, my brother. I'll see you then.
All right. Guys, that's Herb Howard. He covers the Bears for the Bigs Media. Great segment, man. 45-minute session. And, man, I'm telling you, I'd have stayed down for another hour if I didn't have to cut the show at 11 o'clock. Just love talking football with good football people. I really do. This is going to be interesting this week. Tyson Bagent, I'm really excited for him. Unfortunately, he doesn't have his full complement of players. Right tackle might be out, although Herb said that, talking to Tevin said that Darnell Wright should be all right. So that's good. Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright. least you got two people. Cody Whitehair got to learn how to stamp the God blessed ball. But your right guard and your left tackle are out. Larry Borum has done an okay job. He's had some miscues. He needs to play better, but this whole offensive line needs to play better. And there's a lot of communication gaps, miscommunication gaffes that have happened, and they're completely unacceptable. I'm watching the All-22, and I'm like, how does this happen? This shit happens in high school. This shouldn't happen in the pros. Should not happen in the pros. Okay, and there needs to be accountability. There needs to be either playing time or something, but there needs to be accountability for when you screw up. All right, bring in more people every week, offensive linemen, and I don't care what it is, but man, like you can't just continue to mess up, continue to give pressure, continue to pick the wrong guy, continue to miss blocks, continue to get beat, and have there be no repercussions. Okay, what needs to happen? There needs to be a revolving door, and people need to understand that, hey, we're not going to tolerate, all right, mediocrity. All right, because you got a big contract. You've already started. You sent PJ Walker pack in, and you guaranteed him $2 million. Okay, good. So you pay him, but you made a move. That sent ripples through the locker room. You need to send more ripples through the locker room. You know what? You sign this guy, or you sign that guy. We cut him. Why? Because he wasn't. Why is it so difficult to be honest to a degree? Why is it so difficult to say, hey, listen, we cut him. He wasn't playing. He wasn't giving us what we needed, and we needed to go find someone else. It's a results-based business. We weren't getting the results we wanted. We had to go find someone to get those results. Do you think anyone in Chicago would have a freaking problem with that? If you're the head coach and you said that, they would applaud you. They would applaud you. And you're not taking a shot at the player. You're saying he just didn't live up to what he didn't give you the production that you needed, that you signed him for. And it's called life. It's called business. Because remember, as entertaining as the NFL is, it is still a business. And if you're not giving me what in this transaction, I'm giving you millions, and I need protection for my quarterback. I need sacks of the opposite quarterback. I need X amount of yards. If you're not giving me what I need, then this business deal is going to be rendered null and void. All right, it's the coddling of athletes has to stop. It has to. It has to. And the more we do it, the more we're going to continue. The more we're going to continue to wallow in mediocrity. Look at the Cubs. The Cubs signed Trey Mancini, Eric Hosmer. What did? It didn't fit. Got rid of him. Gone. Before the season was mid-season, they got rid of him. They realized they weren't getting what they asked for. DFA'd. That's what we need to do. That is the way it needs to work. That is the way it has to work. No, because I'd be fired. I'd be fired immediately because they would say I'd say mean things to them and hurt their feelings. I I grew up, I was coached by old school coaches, man. Old school coaches. Coaches that grab your face mask. All right. Coaches that put a foot in your ass, literally. Coaches that yell at you and challenged you verbally in front of your teammates, challenged you. And that's what I do. That's how I coach. I challenge my players. I challenge them. And you know what? I can tell you every year I've had one guy who just hated me, just fucking hated me. And at the end of the year, he fucking loved me. Because I brought out the best in them and the competitor in them. And you challenge them. Like you're not doing, like, especially when you know you have the talent. And this Bears squad, this Bears staff is not challenging these players. There are no repercussions. I'd love to be maybe toward the end of the year and I get to practice. I want to hear, is it all roses and, oh, you're not working hard enough. Yeah, we need to try harder. No, get in their face. I got a guy here who you want some more snaps? You want your snaps cut? You want your plays cut? This guy's giving me all I need. If I don't see it out of you, guess what? Your snaps are cut. Your snaps are going down. This guy wants it. How bad do you want it? They got to know. They have to understand. This is the alpha male sport of alpha male sports. You can't have sissy soft feelings. He said something mean to me. Don't talk to me that way. I deserve more respect because if you're not doing what you're told, you get chewed out. And the way you don't get yelled at is if over time you consistently performed at a high level. And of course, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone misses an assignment. Everyone overthrows a running back. Everyone a receiver. Everyone misses a hole. Everyone misses a block. It happens. But when you are consistently good, when your fundamentals are sound, and it happens, it's an anomaly. It happens. And that's where my issue with the staff is. How much do you focus on fundamentals? How much? It has to be every single God-blessed day. From your step, what foot you step with, from your hand placement, to your set, to your drops, everything. Offensively and defensively. That's got to be the first 20 minutes of practice every day. And I don't give a shit if you're bored. I don't give a shit if you're tired. The more you focus on fundamentals, the better you will be. And I don't know how much this team focuses on the fundamentals. I don't. And that's a problem. Because if you focus on the fundamentals, and I see a guy who's playing and his fundamentals are gone, or he strays from his fundamentals, guess what? You're sitting next to me. Actually, no, don't sit next to me. Get your ass over there on the bench. Until I think you're ready to play fundamentally sound football. Until I think you're ready. Tyson Bagent's playing. He's starting. And one of the things that I like his moxie, his confidence. But as I said with Herb, confidence, all that's great. I love it. But you still got to go out and play. You could talk the talk. Now you got to go walk the walk. All right. Check this out, what he had to say yesterday.
I think my life has been planned out for me ahead of time. I think that everything that has happened and will happen was already set in stone to happen. And I think that, coming from where I come from, I've pretty much beat every odd that there was for me. So, I got nothing to lose. I'm just, I'm going to go out there and, fight with these guys to the death and, try to stack up as many wins as I can until we get Justin back.
What's the score going to be Sunday?
Nice one. No comment.
What does it mean to you to?
You gotta respect, and this is why I hope he does well. You gotta respect the guy. He's, we all go through shit. We all have our own story. All right. And as the longer Tyson Bagent starts, the more of his story we'll learn. And who knows how difficult he had growing up? Who knows? And who knows, all the things he's overcome. Okay. And people who overcome adversity, those are the people you want on the field. Those are the people you want in that huddle. Right? Guys who get shit done. Guys who don't let their circumstances dictate the end result, the end of their story. They use it as motivation. They use it as fuel. And more power to him to get to this point. He got here by an injury, but you know what? Tom Brady got where he got by an injury too. Okay? It started with an injury. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm saying he's got an opportunity. And I think him and Justin and him as a 1-2 punch in the quarterback room would be great. I still haven't moved off of Justin Fields. I won't move off of Justin Fields. He's got to play better. You got to put a foot in his ass too. You got to light a fire under his ass too. Don't get me wrong. He's got to be held accountable as well. But you also got to put him in position to be successful. His football IQ is very high. You have to meet him and exceed him at that football IQ level and get the best out of him. Then you can criticize him. Then you can coach him, critique him. But if you can't meet him at that level, I don't know. Anyway, wow. 2 hours is coming and going. I want to thank my guests, Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Bus, for coming on, talking Bulls basketball with me today. That was awesome. And, you know, I love it. I love it because Fred and I don't agree all the time. And that's the wonderful thing about sports. We can disagree vehemently. Still got love for each other when it's all said and done. All right, Fred Pfeiffer, I want to appreciate him. Thank him for coming on, talking Bulls basketball. And then you just saw my guy, Herb Howard, another guy that I respect greatly, who covers the Bears for the Bigs Media, talking Bears football. You know, you and I both know what I could talk Bears all day long. No. Jason, I have to be. I mean, what I told you, I want Justin. You told us we were crazy to think he was the answer. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, and I said it earlier, I said I'm a Justin guy. I don't think they should trade Justin. I think they should build around him, coach him up harder, coach him up better, make him accountable. But we're here now. Justin is not playing. He won't play for another week or two or longer. So I have to be open to Tyson Bagent. And I have to find what's good about him. What did they like about him that made them cut PJ Walker? Just basically say, hey, come and get $2 million. I wish I was PJ Walker. Came into camp, collected $2 million. Like, you know what? We don't need your services. Well, no problem. I'll take this $2 million and I'll go look somewhere else. So we have to be open to him right now. And in doing more and more research on him, yeah, I like the kid. Again, he's not going to take us to a Super Bowl, but he could be the Mike Tomczak to our Jim McMahon. He could be the Mike Tomczak to Justin Fields. Remember, Tomczak came in plenty of times in that 85 season. They just need to grow together. So, shit. Who you telling? Who you telling, Jason? Only guy luckier than him is Chase Daniel. What did Chase have? 5 starts in his, 8, 10, 12-year career? Might have been longer he was in the league. Made like $55 million. Started 5 games. The only guy more lucky than PJ. Hey, listen, guys, and I want to thank you. All right. Brian. Hey, Brian, that's great. Forget Nike's just do it. My new model, get shit done. I hear you. Just get it done. No one cares how rocky. No one wants to hear how rocky the ocean is. Just bring the ship in. Bottom line. End of story. But guys, you have a great weekend. I told you I have a phenomenal weekend planned. I have a full weekend planned. Family brunch tomorrow. I have something to do tonight, and I can't remember. But anyway, Sunday will be the Bears game. Will be in the box with Herb Howard, so that'll be a good thing. And then we'll be back at you Monday with Eric Kramer. So make sure you tune in then. Guys, 12:15, Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown are going to take over for 2 hours on Second City Sports. And then tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. here on Sports Zone Chicago, the Smoke Fellas. If you like talking in the cigar shop or in the barber shop or at the bar with your friends, this is your show. This is your show. They talk shit like you do in the barbershop, in the basement, like we've been doing since we were 5 years old. All right, definitely check that out. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I gotta go pick up Moms from CrossFit. She's fired up. She's kicking ass over there. So I gotta go pick her up. By the time I get there, her class should almost be over. So for everyone, guys, have a phenomenal weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Spend time with your loved ones because you know what? Tomorrow is not promised. So from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, Elliot Baez, our executive producer, Clarence Council, our social media guy, and my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a phenomenal week. I am out.